Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Bowl TV. My name is Matt Canizaro, and it is day 2 here at the USBC Senior Masters in Las Vegas at Samstown Bowling Center. Getting ready for another exciting day of coverage. 3 squads hitting the lanes, 5 games each, the field of 223. That's the final number. They'll be going at it for the second of 3 days of qualifying, after which the top 63 is drawing defending champion, Little Monticelli, 64 player, double elimination match play bracket. So 2 tournaments in 1. Happening right here. Tom passed the overall leader at plus 211, averaged 242 on the fresh 40-foot oil pattern yesterday. We'll be back later today. They were split up into 3 squads. Looking forward to that. 5 games coming up. We got cameras across the house, so make sure to follow your favorite players. Live scoring and expert analysis from Jason Thomas and Curtis Kruger as well. Again, I'm Matt Canizaro. Thank you for joining us here. Let's go to the lanes and check out the action here at Samstown and bring in Jason Thomas. Keep things running here from behind the scenes. Stay tuned. Welcome back. All right, we had again 5 games yesterday. I'll give you a rundown of the standings and talk more about the format. I'll tell you who's who. We are sitting here behind lanes 19 through 22. These are the main featured pairs here during this event and the preceding Super Senior Classic won by Little Monticelli. That was some good stuff as well. If you missed that, or yesterday's action here at the Senior Masters, you can check it all out in the archives on Bowl TV. Details of the event bowl.com/Senior Masters, or just above your chat window. The tab in the middle will get you everything you need to know about this event. Check that out. If you have any questions, let us know along the way. We are here. Glad to find out for you. And if we can't, we'll make up something very believable, sell it to you. And that would be that. So with that, let's take a look at the players we have on our featured players here in our opening game on day 2. Again, there is live scoring. If you'd like to follow the players across the house. By Joey Findley. 22. Sure. Great sheets. Some pairs with 2, some pairs with 3. Last few along the way. So the final number is 223. The standings for day number 1. Give me a quick rundown here. Who those folks are? Plus 211. On start the show, coming in super confident after the win at 350 US Open. Rookie of the year, player of the year, US Tour, as this is the final event of the PGA 50 competitive calendar and a major event. Second national title. What a major. Pretty you followed in the standings. You actually said, talked to Tom and said, hey, great ball. One more big today. He nearly got there. But 277, his final point was plus 197, so just shy of the leader. Got a performance on the double burn. So that was one situation here. All the players have a chance to go on the fresh burn and double burn. So 4 today. Already have 40-foot pattern out there. Players can attack each variation. Double burn plus 197. All right. Looks like we had a mic selection situation here on the MacBook, but we should be back in business. Appreciate Neil sending a note to let us know. All right, so again, looks like the audio mic situation sorted out. Neil, thank you. And now you can really hear all of my babble for the rest of the day, JT.
Yeah, now everybody's going to tune out.
Well, it was a good run, right? We made it 3 frames before anybody leaving, so that's good news.
Yeah. One thing we haven't touched on yet, Matt, and really we haven't touched on anything because nobody could hear us, but our Stephen Sherman's pants.
Well, I saw them when he walked in, and of course, since you know me so well, there was many things that came to mind, but none of them, well, most of them, not really appropriate for a family audience. But we've certainly seen some personalities shining right through the clothing, especially here at the Senior Masters with all these competitors. That's almost part of the preparation for the event.
Yeah, no, he walked in this morning and I was like, man, Homer Simpson would be proud of that outfit.
For those who haven't seen or can't see, it is this gentleman to our right, again on our feature pair, 21-22, yellow shirt, pants, donuts, top to bottom.
It's great. It's a great outfit. And then he's got the yellow, solid, bright yellow shirt to top it all off, just like icing on a donut. He's certainly the leader in the clubhouse for best pants in the tournament so far.
But he will have some work to do on the lanes today. However, JT coming into the day minus 80. Pulled on B squad yesterday, so that was the burn squad, the middle of the day, and now bowling on the fresh. And each player probably going to have one of the variations that is preferred. Sometimes they kind of know going in which one that might be based on their styles, and others maybe surprised. Tom Hess yesterday, I don't know that he was surprised, and as he said, what you get later in the day is truly based on what happens earlier in the day. He was able to attack the pattern a little bit straighter from the right and felt comfortable there, and thought that if the other squads were watching that and they were able to do that when it was their turn on the fresh, that would make things much better later in the day. But if they come out and it's kind of chaotic, things get a little bit messy, then that, of course, will affect what happens for Tom on the burn and the double burn. So it's something that we didn't think about. We kind of, if you come in as a novice, you just think that they're just going to be wide open by the end of the day and scores are going to be through the roof, and that's absolutely not the case.
No, they were not easy whatsoever. Normally you would expect to see, there's a good look at Stephen's pants. versus 6'10". But, if you look at the leaderboard, there's only 3 players in the top 10 off of C Squad. And, you would have expected that number to be a lot higher. Walt Blackston, obviously, we mentioned him, had a great day yesterday. Shot 197 over. Chris Barnes, you may have heard that name a few times. If you've been a fan of bowling, he's in 6th place. And he shot 104 over on the double burn. And Michael Sternad, who we had on our featured pair in game number 4, he actually bowled his lowest game of the day in front of us, but it was only a 193. So he was able to avoid the low games and shot a couple of good games, 238 and 243 in games 1 and 3. And he's at plus 91. But early on in the day, we saw a lot of big names at the top of the leaderboard. But if you look at the standings now, they're kind of spread out a little bit throughout the standing sheet.
But we did not get a chance to go through the standings, Jason, based on the fact that nobody could hear what I was saying. It's well,
one of these days we'll figure out how to use this stuff.
Well, we have a growing checklist, so by week's end, we will be hopefully nearly flawless. But Tom Hess, nearly flawless yesterday in his performance, plus 211, and his proudest moment was his final game where he had 61 in the 5th frame, I believe was the number, and was able to throw 5 or 6 in a row to get to 206. His lowest game of the day, but biggest accomplishment there, plus 211. We mentioned Walt Blackston second at plus 197, David Leverage plus 159, Parker Bone the third plus 141, and then Tom Adcock at plus 116 in 5th place. Chris Barnes battling with Hess and Fred Angelo for the Rookie of the Year. Barnes is 6th at plus 104. He was the runner-up to Hess last week at the Senior U.S. Open. And then Kevin Anderson is 7th at plus 102. Tony Manna, who we have just to our right, longtime Team USA member and USBC board member, is at plus 94. Jason mentioned Michael Sternad at plus 91. And then Ron Moore, the Super Senior. He was the runner-up at the Super Senior Classic. Lives just 20 minutes away. Is very comfortable in this venue, has performed at both the Super Senior Classic and the Senior Masters very well since 2016. He rounds out the top 10 at plus 89. The surprise of the day, Jason, is our defending champion, Manna Monticelli. He came in, just absolutely dominated the Super Senior Classic with the top seed, shot 279 in the title match, went immediately into the practice session for the Senior Masters. Well, maybe not immediately. He might have run a couple miles in between the stepladder and the practice session, but he was here, got out to a hot start yesterday, 258 in the opening game, and we thought that was it. He was on his way, and then some struggles. Did not break 200 the rest of the way, finished in a tie for 74th place at -9. So big surprise there. Not sure what happened. We didn't get a chance to chat with him, but the good news is he's guaranteed a spot in the bracket. He'll be the number 64 seed should he not officially make the cut. But he'll have 10 more games to try to improve his seeding and work his way up into the bracket. Of course, the goal is to get there, and then it's a totally new event. All pinfall drops, and then it's just about you and your opponent on that particular pair of lanes. 3-game set, total pinfall advances. Pretty wild stuff. And again, it's just a different mindset for this tournament. First goal, make the cut. Second goal, start working on your strategy based on who and where. But for Amleto, a little bit of work to do. The good news is there's no pressure. He's in, but I know that he probably doesn't feel too good about the way that things ended up on the standing sheet at the end of the day. So we'll see him later today. We've got some strings of strikes just to our right. Tony Manna, we mentioned him. He's got the front 7 over on 23 and 24. We'll take a roll through the live scoring again and see if there's anything else developing. JT, I feel like our best strings actually happened on the fresh yesterday, which you wouldn't normally expect.
Yeah, no, I was very surprised about that as well, Matt. And I thought, especially given the caliber of the field, we would have some players shoot some big scores on B and C squad. But yeah, it seemed like the going might have been just as good on A squad as it was on B and C.
We had 3 bowlers with the front 6 already. I believe Tony's the only one still rolling, but man. I feel like A squad hit him pretty well yesterday, and then it's like when you do the puzzle, you get it all fixed, and then you mess it up for the next guy.
Yeah,
and that's almost what happened. It didn't get better for B and C squad.
That's a good analogy. All right, we're going to jump over to 23 through 26 next. See if I can get my Aaron Smith lightning hands going here. Boom. Not bad. I'm sharp this morning, other than, turning people's mics on properly.
Well, that'd be my fault because it's part of my personal checklist, and I blew it.
Yeah, it's a team effort.
Because when I did do it, it was good, and then I didn't do it, and it wasn't good. So
we rise and fall as a team here on Bolt TV. Mostly fall.
No. No. No, sir. Just by the way, Tony Manna, unfortunately.
Whoa.
Wait, are we watching it?
Hasn't happened
yet.
yet.
It hasn't happened. Okay. Well, good. Let me tell my story then.
There we go. He missed it.
Okay.
Now you can.
Okay. I didn't realize I was otherwise occupied. I didn't know you changed the channel. See, that's the thing I was about to say, is that even the staff here at Samstown, they've been with us through our live streaming careers almost, going back to the World Cup in 2015. So we've had the World Cup here twice, and then these senior events, the Super Senior Classic and the Senior Masters, since 2016. But they've seen the evolution of our live stream setup, was the point here. So we're set up between 19 through 22, and that's been the case the entire time. But for much of that was it. That was the extent of our coverage. These were the featured pairs, and you were done. Once you were off those pairs, you wouldn't be within camera range until you came back around. And even the players are not conditioned yet to the fact that there's how many cameras do we have now? 9 for this event?
We've got 9 channels, 8 different featured pairs. Yeah. So pretty much 60% of the house. We've got 7 through 38. And they're bowling on 3 through 56. So about 60% of the field at any given time is on camera.
So even the staff that's been here for the entire 7 years of our live streaming at Samstown, they're still getting used to the fact that it's more than just the 2 pairs being shown, the players as well. And then when you explain it, hey, I didn't perform very well on the featured pairs. Like, well, just so you know, most of the pairs are the featured pairs.
Yeah,
so let's step it up. But the staff came over and they asked questions and they're curious. And then when I explained it, they're just to see this thing grow.
We're spreading like a virus here on Bolt TV.
Oh, and there's no vaccine for us. So.
That's right. But at least we wear masks.
But we know we're doing something right. They're getting phone calls. Hey, how do I watch Walter Ray? How do I do this? How do I see that? There's so many components to it. Different pairs. There's a chat. There's the live scoring. And you put it all together, and it's our little puzzle here. We've even got Norm Duke's mom tuning in. We helped her yesterday get situated with her Bolt TV subscription, and just in time to watch him make a run at 290.
Yeah.
On his first attempt.
Yeah, that was an interesting block. Basically got all of his pins in one game. You know, Tony's a great story here, Matt. You know, a lot of people out there maybe haven't heard of Tony, but multiple-time Team USA member, really great amateur player. Would have done really well if he had chosen to go out on tour, but you know, opted for a different route in life, and had a great start to the tournament yesterday, just showing he's still got it, and huge start here this morning. He shoot 279. Serves on the USBC Hall of Fame committee. Incredibly knowledgeable about the sport. So pretty cool story there.
So lifetime folks, again, working their way through the USBC system and stepping stones, and we're getting to that point, JT, where some of those initial top youth standouts, the first junior gold players are only 8 or 9 years away from the Senior Masters. That's how long we've been at this, and they're working their way through the Missy Parkins and the Shawn Rashes, and of course the ones that came before them. You mentioned Tony Manna, Dino Castillo, and there's just such a long list. We're seeing them now hit that 50 mark and kind of reemerge onto the bowling scene, right? Many of them found great success at different levels of the game and went on to other worlds and to do other things, and some within the bowling industry, some serving, as you mentioned, Tony, behind the scenes on the board and on the Hall of Fame committee and other committees, and just finding different ways to succeed.
Stay involved, yeah, in the sport too. Yeah, that's really the best way. You know, you have a lot of people out there who, you know, have critiques of things that, you know, the USBC organization or other organizations are doing, but there are so many ways for you to get involved and to make a difference. And you know, Tony's done that, and he's still a hell of a bowler. Possible 279 here in game one. And that would vault him into the top 5 right out of the gate here.
Well, at this event, you get it when you can, right? You take advantage of the good pairs, and then when the breaks come, and of course, if there's one variation of the pattern that is your strength, you can certainly get enough pins then to be able to grind the other two. And Tom has to be in the example. He probably doesn't have to do a whole lot over the next 2 blocks to make the top 64. He's in a nice position, but you know, you can't be complacent. As he said at a recent event, he was bowling to not miss the show rather than doing what he did to get him to the position he was in to begin with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Same thing here. Certainly he's not going to let up, and nobody else would. But you don't maybe have to be as aggressive.
Well, I think for Tom, as we watch Tony here trying to finish off this 270, I mean, his ball is just going through the pins perfectly. So, yeah, if you're bowling fresh tomorrow, you're on the C squad, you're definitely going to be wanting to watch what Tony's doing here. Throwing a strong ball with a lot of surface, playing pretty straight up 5, just hooking it a little bit, and he's got a great look. But again, Tom, I think, is looking for that player of the year. You mentioned it in the story that you wrote last night, Matt, and rookie of the year, and really, I think, wants to impress the folks who are going to make that selection, as well as Team USA. And I feel like if he were to lead this tournament and make a run through the bracket, that would be even more impressive than if he were to fall off the next couple of days and kind of qualify in the middle of the pack. So, obviously from his comments in the story last night, he's got a lot to prove and a lot to motivate himself to continue to keep the foot on the gas over the next 2 days.
Well, there was some discussion yesterday, and maybe you have a thought on this as well, but personally, I feel that determining the awards at the end of the year, the Player of the Year and the Rookie of the Year, I feel that the points-based system is the fairest. There's no other way. You're measuring who the best player is over the entire season. What other way could there be? Right? And I know that the PBA does a voting process, and it's different here on the Senior Tour, but what better way could there be than just who had the most points over the year and performed, and it's the duration of the season. There's extra points awarded for the majors, and it just makes sense. And maybe some of the discussion was about how the points are. I know on the PWBA Tour there's standard and there's major, right? And that's it. And there's no variation from event to event. That's pretty clear going in what the situation is. But any thoughts on that? If you put it to a vote, the best player potentially isn't always going to win. If that player is not a nice person, unfortunately,
yeah, no, for sure. We saw it cost Pete Weber quite a few times when he was bowling out on tour in his younger days. I personally like the way we do it on the PWBA Tour, where it's all based on points, and we do have a point scale that tries to take into consideration consistency and high finishes. Like, for example, Norm Duke used to vote on whoever made more money. That's who he would vote for, right? And obviously this year, Josie Barnes is going to lead the money, but she didn't have the best year. A lot of people would like to trade years with her now because she won $100,000 at the U.S. Women's Open. But if you're trying to pick Player of the Year, it should be about consistency and showing up week after week and being a factor week after week and putting yourself in contention. And so that's how it's done on the PWBA Tour. I personally am a big fan of it because it takes opinion out of the matter. But that's going to do it for game number one. We're going to go ahead and sign off of our Facebook Live and our Bowl TV YouTube channel. But you can continue watching coverage here at the Senior Masters over on bowltv.com. If you don't have a subscription, be sure to sign up for one today. We have an event ticket for the USBC Senior Masters for $12.95 plus transaction fees. If you want to sign up for a monthly, that's probably your best bet at this point. Now that we're a day into the tournament, $9.95 a month plus transaction fees. It's a recurring monthly. So if you like what you see and you want to watch the PWBA Fall Classic, which is coming up at the end of October, you can keep your subscription. You can cancel it at any time if you want to wait or if you're not happy with it. But I guarantee you will be. And if you're good and you think watching 60 to 70 to 90 events, however many we do over the course